Dude, cigarettes are so bad for you.
I know, right?
Did you know much of Winston's economy was based on the tobacco industry?
Wait, really?
Yeah, many Forsyth County farmers grew at least some tobacco as one of their cash crops.
Interesting. So how did the industry expand from that?
Here, why don't I just show you?
Whoa, where are we?
We're at the first tobacco plant in Winston.
How is it established?
Why don't we just ask one of the workers?
Hi, can you please tell us about the plant you work at?
Hi, well yes of course. A man named Hamilton Scales hauls in equipment, machinery, and supplies on wagons to set up a plant here due to the tobacco being farmed.
Wow, it's pretty small.
Yeah, it's only 50 square feet and I work among 19 other people.
So you're telling me the booming tobacco industry all started from this small area?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, this plant marked the beginning of an industry that within the following decades would produce 10 million pounds of chewing tobacco.
Wow, I want to know what happened next to allow for this industry to thrive.
Come follow me to Church Street. Sorry. Okay, here we are at Church Street. A man named Major T.J. Brown realized there was a strong need for a tobacco warehouse and established one on Church Street so that the tobacco could be made into its finished project and manufactured out. B.H. Haynes moved to Winston in 1872 and formed B.H. Haynes and Company along with his brother and Major T.J. Brown, making a plug tobacco factory in Greensboro.
Look, it's her again. What are you doing?
I found work at a new company.
Where do you work now?
A new tobacco company in Winston opened by R.J. Reynolds.
Can you tell me more about him?
Well, he was the son of one of Virginia's largest slaveholding planters and took charge of his father's tobacco company. Reynolds decided to establish his own tobacco company in Winston-Salem due to availability of opportunities.
Wow, I didn't know there was so much history of the tobacco industry rooted in Winston-Salem. How did cigarettes and cigars come to be?
Well, in the mid-1800s, druggist V.O. Thompson made a cigar factory right here between 5th and 6th Street, followed by I. Leopard, who made a cigar factory between 3rd and 4th Street that imported filler from Cuba along with fancy wrappers.
Yeah, I tried to work there, but I couldn't get the job because he only hired the most skilled workers. The capital invested in tobacco manufacturing in North Carolina rose from $1.5 million in 1870 to $7 million in 1880, and the value of production jumped from $2.3 million to $14 million. William Cyrus Briggs' invention of the cigarette-making machine was brought to Winston, which produced 60 cigarettes per minute, revolutionizing the cigarette-making industry.
So Winston's economy primarily came from the tobacco industry? That's insane.
Well, actually,
Oh no, now what?
the textile industry was booming in the late 1800s and 1900s in Winston, also providing a lot of support for economy.
I'm guessing you're going to show me.
First, let's hear some background about the industry.
Working with fabrics was an essential activity in the wilderness settlements of Bethabara, Bethania, and Salem. Gottfried Pritzel weaves linen and sewed leather gloves, providing a successful business for Salem's single sisters. Most items were consumed by the town's residents, but excess goods became part of the town's commerce with other settlers. In 1837, the textile business began to change with the decision to open the Salem Cotton Mill. Although never fully successful, the mill marked the first time that the Salem Moravians employed non-Moravians in a business of theirs. In 1854, it was bought by former North Carolina Governor John Motley Moorhead, but returned to local ownership after the Civil War when the Fries family acquired it.
In 1880, a large addition to the original structure created Arista Mills, a cotton mill located here. A man named Francis Fries was superintendent of Arista Mills and created his own wool carding factory, which included spinning machines and hand looms.
What are spinning machines and hand looms?
Spinning jenny was invented by James Hargraves that reduced the amount of work needed to produce yarn. A worker could make 8 or more spools at once. The Lancashire loom allowed a weaver to run up to 6 looms, working at 220 to 260 picks per minute.
Okay, back to Francis Fry's factory.
Oh yeah, his mill produced popular heavy jeans cloth, inexpensive linseys, and more costly fine dyed wool. After he died in 1863, his brother Henry and nephews carried on his business.
Wow, what happened then?
Well, the turn of the century also marked the sale of the P.H. Haynes Company, the successful plug tobacco company, to R.J. Reynolds. The owners, Pleasant Haynes and John Wesley Haynes, chose to take their sale proceeds and start textile companies. They manufactured their own yarns and built a spinning mill.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thank you for telling me.
All factory-made goods went to consumers in northern and southern cities, to middle-class and working-class people who no longer made their own clothes and had extra income. Department stores and discount five and dime stores sprang up to serve the new urban markets. By 1890s, farm families also could buy factory-made goods through new mail-order catalogs. Despite tobacco always being used, now it was seen as fashionable due to cigarettes and new advertising, and by the turn of the century, Americans spent more on tobacco than they did on clothes. Towns grew throughout the period 1865 to 1898 and so on, and North Carolina's economy generated jobs at a higher rate than the national average in many areas.